What is going on? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today we're going to talk to you on ChargePoint. I want to go over some of the current data points, but talk on how ChargePoint could be having a rally sooner rather than later. So I'm going to go over all that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So right now the broader market is rallying, especially considering the fear and greed index is at 79. So the market does want to propel a lot of stocks higher, but ChargePoint, oddly enough, is flat. A lot of volatility within the intraday, so you do see 244 the low, 253 is the high. So I'm going to break it down on the technicals as well, but big money is just overlooking ChargePoint. 5.2 million shares have been traded today so far in the first about almost 4 hours of the trading day. 23.7 is the average. So big money, like I said, is just not seeing ChargePoint for any value, but that might change very soon. So I want to break it down on some data points. Starting off though, there has been no news, no SEC filings coming out from ChargePoint itself, and that is largely because of the holiday season. A lot of companies just go radio silent. That's kind of normal overall. I'll break it down on some of the technicals and data points, starting off with options. So right now, $133,000 in calls being purchased versus 56,000 in puts. Sentiment wise though, 51% of all the options being done today so far is bullish. Of the call options that are being purchased, there is a consensus that it is going to be above 250 by the end of this week. So hopefully that'll hold true. Looking at the puts though, it is anticipated for it to be sub $2. Kind of extreme. Keep in mind though, if it does close above that 250 by this upcoming Friday, you are going to see around 7,000 in open interest that does get exercised. Market makers are going to have to cover that. So that should cause a nice bump up in the stock price as a result of that. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. As far as what shorts are doing, so right now they're increasing about 253.13 thousand shares. 22.11% of the free float is being shorted. 84.64 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is fairly similar to yesterday, so 5.69%. And through Interactive Broker, short availability does indicate that there's around 2.8 million shares available to be shorted. So I wanted to talk on this because behind the scenes, the technicals are oddly looking very good for ChargePoint to break out. A lot of people really do like the Elliott Wave technicals, and based on this, assuming it does hold this pivot point of $1.87, then it is projected to be anywhere from 377 to 418 in the short term, and that is a pretty substantial bump up, and that is because ChargePoint has been largely suppressed for a long time. And maybe I think some people are starting to see this whole downtrend that did occur might have been just overdone and not really justified in some cases. Of course, some things that have happened with ChargePoint over the last little bit, especially their Q3 earnings, that was just a mess up that they probably should have avoided. But beside the point though, a lot of this downtrend definitely was not really justified. And even during this downtrend, when I was covering it, when I was doing my periodic reviews, I was saying like this is going down based on no reason whatsoever. It doesn't necessarily make sense for it to go down the extent that it did. So I wanted to play this quick video, only like a minute from this, but this will put it in perspective on why some big money will be starting to look at ChargePoint very soon.
Of Morgan Stanley Investment Management. Andrew, just to kind of tag on to what Dom was showing us there, it's interesting because the so-called catch-up trade, as we were describing, that 200 basis point differential between the equal weighted and the S&P 500, to me, that's happening largely during a period where you don't have much in the way of fundamental news. It's after a lot of the earnings reports have come out. You've got obviously a lot of reaction to a potential pivot by the Fed. What does that indicate to you as we look into 2024, when we should get some more idiosyncratic information, some earnings reports, some fundamental news? What does that tell you about just kind of the trend and the broadening out that we've seen this year?
Sure. Well, look, first of all, Leslie, I think you have to remember that unfortunately, the first year off a bear market low, investors sell stocks. It happens all the time. We saw net outflows from equity, mutual funds, and ETFs for a year off the COVID low, and we saw it again this go round. And it's about 1 year later, investors flipped from being bearish to bullish. It happened in February of 2021, and it happened in November of this year. And when they go to buy, when they realize they shouldn't have been selling, they should have been buying, they look around for things that they feel that they could play catch up. So
he kind of goes on to further elaborate on the same thing, but this is why I did say that a lot of companies and big money is overlooking ChargePoint right now. But with every stock running up as much as it has, people are going to be scouring for discounted stocks. And this is where ChargePoint is going to be that, I guess, glimmer of hope, or this shiny diamond, or whatever analogy you want to consider. But this is where ChargePoint will definitely start to pick up. And I feel like this right here, the 377 to 418, is kind of conservative, because even based on this, realistically, if there is a FOMO rally that does continue to happen in the broader market, I could feel ChargePoint getting to around the 450 at the bare minimum. But that's just me. I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. Looking at some of the fib levels right now, with it at $2.49, it is between this P and the R1. So even in that regard, it is lagging in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks that are out there. So $2.40 is going to be that next strong support, and then 307 is going to be that next strong resistance. So even in this right here, there is a very wide gap, giving a lot of opportunity for ChargePoint to really go up significantly higher to around the $3 range. And once it gets over this $3 range, then it's just going to be a lot of good positive momentum to causing it to get above this R2, then R3. So let me know your thoughts on ChargePoint in the comments below. Do you think that these are realistic? So between the 377 and 418, or do you think that it is going to trend down to make all-time lows? What's your viewpoint on all of that? Because options activity is kind of showing both extremes, but in reality, the broader market is really wanting for it to go up very, very high, especially, like I said, the fear and greed index is at 79. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing I just wanted to share with you: take advantage of this promo with Moomoo. Sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. But with all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.